Crick Buzz Centre Stage. Adam Collins and Harsha Bhogle. We're at Lord's behind us here for what will be an interesting game between Australia and New Zealand today. But we're here to talk about the game at Edgbaston, which we're jumping on the motorway to after the game, Harsha. Tomorrow we're going to watch the men in blue India take on, well, the other men in blue England in a game.
In fact, the men in orange now taking on the men in blue. So how funny is it going to be looking at them in orange? They normally have a streak of orange on their blue.
Yep.
Now there's a little more orange and a little less blue.
That's the way it goes when you've got a clash. I don't know why you need a clash trip for one day. It's about the whole different story. What we do know, Harsha, emphatically, is that England are in a lot of trouble very quickly and they have to somehow overcome India, or that may very well be tournament over.
You know, it reminds me a lot of the difference between the two countries. Even if you say Australia was a former colony, you still got the Queen as a head of state. I'll rub that in.
I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
No, but you tell Australia you're the favourites going into a tournament. And what do you think they do? They puff their chest, they pull out their shoulder and say, guys, me favourites. And they enjoy being favourites. You tell England you're favourites and say, oh, okay, but you never know. Someone else can do well. And I think England are being weighed under by two things. One is the tag of being favourites, and they're not comfortable with that. They've never been good at the World Cup for a long time. But also, they've done very well playing one kind of cricket on one kind of surface. And they've been outstanding at that kind of cricket. Now, suddenly the surfaces are a bit different. There's a lot more riding on a defeat. And so suddenly England are wondering, is that style correct? Is that style wrong? Can we go hell for leather, or should we just hold back? And I think that is where England have got a bit stuck.
They were beaten here at Lord's by Australia, which put them into this problem, and of course Sri Lanka last Friday up at Leeds. But the surface at Birmingham will grip, so it won't be the kind of track that they necessarily want, that flat wicket which they've been able to make in excess of 400 relatively consistently over the last few years. It's going to be a different ballgame tomorrow.
If it grips, there'll be two things going against England. One is that spinners come into play, and two, a World Cup in England with a raucous Indian crowd cheering them on, and suddenly faced with the prospect of saying, oops, is this the game that takes us out of the World Cup? Because Pakistan will have played Afghanistan before that, and we are recording this before, but they would have won, and so they would actually be 1 point ahead. So I think all that pressure will bear on England. If they can win the game, take your hats off for their ability to rise to the occasion. But I think, and I didn't think I'd say this before the tournament started, that England actually start underdogs for this game.
What's the situation through your eyes of the response to players from past players and vice versa? It doesn't reflect well upon the England camp when there seems to be this disharmony between players that have been very successful like Michael Vaughan and the current opening batsman Johnny Bairstow, for instance.
Good old crick buzz man, Michael Vaughan, yes. Isn't he? Now, it's interesting because I thought one of the things that comes with being an international cricketer, it comes with being a commentator and presenter as well, is a thick skin. Because people are paid to give their point of view. And it's got to be water off a duck's back. If you're sensitive, you're in trouble. I actually think this England side has been talked up so much, which is what Josh Butler said afterwards when he distanced himself from what Bairstow said. But if that is indeed what more than one person in the camp is thinking, if they're thinking the world is against us, England is against us, they're waiting for us to lose, they'll get consumed by that idea and they won't be themselves. And we know, as we saw in the IPL, Bairstow, when he's himself, he's a match winner. But he's had 2 first ball ducks now. Yep. So I just wonder if that's all getting to him a little bit. If that does, they're in trouble. But somebody in that camp has to say, water of a duck's back, guys. Tomorrow you are going to be in that job and you're going to say the same things about the next generation. It's
almost certain that India will qualify anyway, but winning will confirm it. As we mentioned before, the track at Birmingham spun plenty when Pakistan played New Zealand a couple of days ago. So there's no doubt about the two spinner approach, which has served them so well so far through this tournament.
I think India are going to come doing this and this. I think they're all just going to have breakfast, picking up an orange like this, picking up a banana like this. I don't know about this. I wonder if they'll be tempted. I'll tell you what, if there is a lot of grip and turn, if they see that's how it's going to be, I wonder if they'll want to play, given how Santner bowled. Yeah. If they might even want to play a third spinner. Yeah. That'll entirely depend on how they read the surface. I don't see India making too many changes. But if India win, I think they'll almost guarantee themselves a top of the table position given the 2 games they have to play.
And last but not least, the ground at Edgbaston, it's where Kohli made quite brilliant twin tons at the Test match last year, which of course we were privileged to watch for Crick Buzz. This is a venue which suits Kohli, a crowd which adore him. Wouldn't he love to bring up 3 figures there again?
Wouldn't he? He's had an 80 and 2 70s, and that's unlike Kohli not to convert. His conversion rate is as good as anybody, but he's played crucial innings. I think if Kohli can convert that to 100, India have got enough already.
Adam Collins, Harsha Bhogle. We can't wait for today's game, but more to the point, tomorrow's between England and India. What a blockbuster. We'll, of course, be there for Crick Buzz Centre Stage. Talk to you then.